respect to vulnerability and pen testing. There's going to be a number of different tools we're going to work through and some platforms we're going to go along the same time. So again, very excited to kick this session off. A little bit about us. We've been creating hackers since 2003. EC Council stands for the International Council of E-Commerce Consultants. We're a cybersecurity certification body, and we've been developing cybersecurity education training resources for years. My role within EC Council, I'm the Director of Academics, as mentioned, so I have the privilege of supporting many of the academic institutions across the world with our EC Council Academia Partner Program. And a big part of that program allows us to become involved with many universities to collaborate on different types of technologies, cyber competitions, different types of certifications, events, networking opportunities, webinars, a lot of support that we do for cyber clubs and so much more. So again, it's great to be here with you. Now, I did want to mention, I want to say hello from Tampa, Florida. Our office, one of the EC Council offices, is in Tampa, Florida. We have a few offices in the U.S. as well as across the world, over in Europe, Southeast Asia, India, and several other offices. So there's a snapshot of our office in Tampa, Florida. Where our EC Council teams are that support, many of which support our academic division. So I've been personally involved with EC Council since 2009 in supporting many of the academic initiatives, including Certified Ethical Hacker, which we're going to talk about a little bit. And that certification in particular is kind of EC Council's flagship certification. So we're going to dive into some of those concepts and what these resources are all about, but we're going to take a look at some of those platforms too. So again, a little bit about EC Council and who we are and what we do. And this is relative to our academic division, specifically those pictures you're seeing at the bottom side of the screen. These are all students in our academic partner programs that we support in various ways. So it's always good to see real students that are taking these courses, learning technologies, and really preparing themselves as best as they can for their future careers. But EC Council started in 2003 with the development of the Certified Ethical Hacker course and certification. So if you haven't heard of EC Council and you've heard of Certified Ethical Hacker, excellent. CEH has been our flagship cert, and mainly because we started to develop those to private and public sector standards. So in 2008, we achieved as an organization our first U.S. Department of Defense or DoD accreditation in Certified Ethical Hacker. So that was a big step for EC Council back in 2008. And once that happened, we started to focus on designing and developing tactical cyber programs that were going to be helpful for not only military personnel and personnel in the government, but also professionals and also students as well. So since then, after the success of Certified Ethical Hacker and the development, we started to develop a number of other programs covering digital forensics, penetration testing, incident response, network defense, and many others that we're going to cover today. To date, we have over 20 different programs that we use in various ways to support colleges and universities, but a great deal of technologies as well, because we are an ed tech organization. So I'm looking forward to sharing several of those platforms with you today. And then also, to date, we have 4 of our certification courses recognized and accredited by the U.S. Department of Defense. What that means is actually DoD personnel that are securing systems, that are doing a lot of the cybersecurity tactical type of work, have EC Council certifications as a baseline certification of establishing knowledge in order to work on many of those systems. So we have a lot of fun with what we do. We're passionate about cybersecurity education and supporting students all across the world to make sure you have a challenging and fun education experience with cybersecurity, because there's many domains, many different topics, but it is a very fun and thrilling environment. So EC Council Global Brands, I'll mention a few that we support, and some of these, again, are well outside of the education and certification realm. So what you're seeing in terms of global brands at the top left-hand side of the screen, our traditional divisions within EC Council. There's also some lab range technologies and cyber range technologies that we'll get into a little later on in the session. But ultimately, everything that we do is focused on cybersecurity education and awareness in some way, shape, or form. So we'll talk about cloud-based cyber ranges, also phishing types of enterprise solutions. We have a mobile application for cybersecurity awareness. We also do things like events like Hacker Halted, which we'll talk about as well. One of our key events that we do, and bring in speakers from all across the world to present some very technical sessions. We have our Global Cyber Olympics competition as well, where students from all across the world compete against each other in different qualifying rounds. And really the list goes on. We've also started to develop, to support students, a number of different technologies. One of those is the EC Console Storm Kit. We've actually used the Storm Kits and our drone hacking programs. If any of you have heard of the DEF CON events in Las Vegas, we ran the drone village at DEF CON a couple of years ago, and we've been involved in a number of other events, bringing our resources and technology there to be able to provide either competitions or different types of opportunities to showcase some of those technologies. So a big part of what we do, again, outside of the certification realm, is also focused on hands-on experiences in the classroom. That could range from different types of mobile pen testing classes to mobile forensics classes, or hacking with our mobile security toolkit. So that's a little bit about the EC Council brands and what the representation is. But a long story short, we're very excited for our partnership with the university, with EC Council Academia. This opens up a lot of different resources and technologies to the university. So we want to showcase some of those technologies today. And also, I did want to mention that there'll be some resources we can provide after this session, some access to our cyber range to be able to say, all right, these are key resources you can work in, and have a little bit of time to spend in working through some of the challenges as well. So again, very pleased to be partnered with the university, and we look forward to supporting some of the cyber initiatives and programs, and are happy to be a part of this event. So when I talk about the technologies and the courses that EC Council offers, I did want to also specifically mention how kind of we got started in terms of designing courses. There's a lot of different cybersecurity certification courses and providers out there, but EC Council specifically started to map into key industry frameworks, because we know that a lot of these key industry frameworks, industry is also recognizing and valuing things such as the National Initiative of Cybersecurity Education, or the Department of Defense, or the Committee on National Security Systems, or the American Council on Education. A lot of those accreditations and mapping, the reason why industry is seeking many students with cybersecurity credentials is because of the alignment and mapping to many of the workforce roles. And that's the path that we take as well. So we work with a lot of students that are oftentimes asking us, all right, what's the best course to take? What is the best way to get skilled up and be a pen tester? Or how do I get involved in an entry level role in a security operations center? Or what are the best companies that are hiring for cybersecurity positions after I graduate? There's so many questions, and we work with a lot of students, but I think the key thing is having a plan and a purpose, knowing what you're actually looking to do in cybersecurity in terms of the workforce roles, and being able to add value and skills to your resume so you can land those careers afterwards. So things such as cyber competitions, or different types of networking opportunities, industry events, cyber clubs, these types of sessions, I always encourage students to get involved with, because organizations are looking for students that are active in the community and that are passionate about education and learning, and that are willing to learn and grow their knowledge. So Being EC Counsel has worked with a number of the Fortune 500 companies, many of which you're seeing on here, a number of the Fortune 1000 companies all across the world. The best advice that we can give to you as students is don't stop pursuing your education, don't stop learning, don't stop experimenting and exploring, because these organizations are going to find value in that, and really see passion and will to become more versed in education and cyber skills and becoming a true professional in the field. So I did also want to talk about certification pathways. Now, EC Council is one of several cybersecurity certification bodies, but I want to talk about a very structured approach from skilling an individual up from end user security all the way to expert level executive security. So for example, where do you get started in terms of end user security? So we know that that's working at your home network, for example. What are you going to do to secure your home network? What are you going to do to actually make sure your friends, family, siblings, etc., are taking the proper security precautions? They're using VPN. They're not they're socially aware of different types of phishing emails that are out there. They're backing up their data. They're scanning different files to make sure there's no virus. What are those proper practices you can do? So that's really where we start as EC Counsel. And many of you, I'm sure, are already familiar kind of with that approach, but end user security is really everything. That's where it all starts. And that's where we start with an EC Counsel as an end user knowledge worker. And that's what we prescribe: secure practices, and also a little bit of foundational encryption as well, because that's going to help you in the long run. Now, I did want to also mention, from that point on, we start to teach fundamental ethical hacking, network defense, and digital forensic skills. Now, we want to teach you an offensive approach, a defensive approach, and an investigative approach. And that cyber novice tier that you're seeing there, I did want to mention this is a free series of courses as an academia partner. So you as students and you as professionals can be able to take those essential series courses for free. We're providing the video training, we're providing the e-courseware, and then there's a very direct pathway to cyber competitions. So I did want to make that clear. One of the exciting things we get to do within our academic division is not only design, develop, and experiment with a lot of these technologies, but we also get to implement these courses across a lot of universities. And these are free resources you'll be able to access and explore. Now, I did want to talk about the next few tiers in this being the technician level and the core level. These are key stepping stones to be able to achieve a specialization. And when we talk about specializations, this goes back to that primary question: where do I get started and how do I start? And how do I get up to the point where I'm a pen tester? How do I get up to the point where, I'm a digital forensics investigator, or I'm a forensic analyst or a cybercrime analyst, etc. There's a lot of workforce roles out there, but our approach is basically from that cyber novice and then the stepping stones, a technician level. You're doing a lot of network defense and operations, a lot of triage into your core components, which is ethical hacking and network defense. That's going to give you the baseline before you get into your specialization, because then the offensive approach, the defensive approach, and how to do different types of practices, how each of them relate in those specializations, and then finally leading up to where many people aspire to be an executive level CISO, who, as we know, the Chief Information Security Officers are really responsible for all the security assets within an organization, an incredibly really honorable job role, and with a lot of responsibility that comes with that. So this is the EC Counsel approach that we take when many students or professionals even ask us, where do I get started? A lot of this has also been interesting as the pandemic hit. A lot of college students are also going online. A lot of professionals are looking to retool and reskill to get into cybersecurity because of the job opportunities and because of the fact that technology is advancing much faster than we have the ability to secure it. So think about that for a moment. Things like your new iPhone or your new your Apple Watch or your Fitbit, as far as IoT devices and all of these resources are growing, technology is growing so much that it's much faster than the ability we have to secure it. So, and the standard approach is the EC Council certification pathway that I'm excited to share. Now, what we're going to talk about specifically is what we refer to in EC Council as VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So there's a very specific track that we also have at an intermediate level to get someone to the point where they're a skilled pen tester. And that starts again with network defense concepts leading into your offensive approach in ethical hacking, and then also pen testing, which, as we all know, is much more than just the technical side of things. Everyone likes to be a pen tester and everyone likes to be on a red team and do different types of hacking challenges, but also primary function of a pen tester is also the business writing and reporting aspect, right? So all the things that you go in and really break and explore, etc., all of those things have to be reported in a business formal manner. So that's also part of the CPEN course. So we're going to talk about this track specifically, and then we're going to show you some examples of some ranges that we use to support these types of education. And again, we'll be providing some range technologies to each of you after this session so you can kind of explore on your own. But let's start first with Certified Network Defender. And you'll see on the screen, defend your networks. What we're teaching in Certified Network Defender is not a definitive approach to network security. We're giving you a very operational approach to network security. Now you're looking at not just how a network functions, you're looking at how to defend that network. You're monitoring the network for any type of malicious traffic. You're monitoring network services, using tools to diagnose and assess, and so much more. So there's this very specific approach in Certified Network Defender that we use a four-prong approach. So first, you're going to predict, right? You got to predict the attack surface analysis, threat intelligence, risk management, all parts of the predict phase. And then you're going to protect. You're going to protect your mobile assets, your IoT devices, cloud and virtualization, which we all know IoT and cloud are really paramount and growing so quickly. And then we teach you how to detect, right? You're going to be monitoring network traffic. You're going to be reviewing network logs, looking up domain controllers, and so much more. And then finally, the respond phase. This is where the incident response phase is there, starting and then followed by the forensic investigation and business continuity and DR aspect. So these are the phases of what we consider a well-rounded defensive approach when it comes to network defense. So when you look at the way that a course like CND is structured, this is one of the 4 U.S. Department of Defense accredited certifications. So that means the program has been built with a very strategic approach and mapped to very strategic workforce roles within the National Initiative of Cybersecurity Education framework. And that's what many organizations and industries use and value as a baseline for knowledge, skills, and abilities in specific workforce roles. So CND, a very defensive approach, and then individuals who are looking to complete some of these tactics and looking to study in CND and eventually get certified, we have clear workforce role outcomes that are aligned. So individuals can expect to pursue these types of outcomes, because one of the big questions we get as a certification body from many students is, if I get a certification, what types of job roles should I be looking for? What does it qualify me for? What are the salary ranges, etc.? Those are all functions of why you would pursue any type of stackable credential. And stackable credentials really it's a broad term as well. So a certification could be a stackable credential, a cyber competition award, a badge. There's so many stackable credentials you can use to really elevate and boost your resume when you're looking for a career post-graduation. So we tend to be very clear on the outcomes and the workforce roles that we're preparing students for. Now on to Certified Ethical Hacker. Again, Certified Ethical Hacker has been around for years, since 2003. I mean, we're almost approaching 20 years with CEH program, and we're on version 11. It's gone through 11 different iterations of a very dynamic, offensive, and quite frankly, it's a pretty fun program. There's a lot of tactics you're studying in CEH that you may also use in many of your, red team competitions or many of the ancillary challenges or online challenges you may be competing in. But we've developed really the original standard in ethical hacking. That's what EC Council is primarily known for. The original standard in ethical hacking, and we actually coined the phrase ethical hacking. Before it, hacking was often referred to as a bad word. I remember, back in 2009, working with, university programs, often the question was raised, well, why do I want to teach my students hacking? Well, fast forward to modern day, things have completely changed. We can't get enough skilled pen testers and hackers. The job market's moving, the talent is moving, tools are changing, operating systems are evolving fast. I mean, we have IoT, we have the dark web, cloud security, all of these different functions are evolving. So certified ethical hacker, we've developed to some pretty unique standards throughout the years, and now on version 11. And the major updates that we've recently added to the course are, I think, well deserved. So there's a number of hacking challenges, which we'll show you some of the lab range technology in just a moment. But those hacking challenges are what adds that element of exploration, of competition, right? I think in cybersecurity education, a lot of students are seeking that hands-on approach. You can read about it, you can understand what the definition is, but there's really no way to completely understand it rather than to get your hands in the range and start working. Start doing network sniffs, start cracking passwords, start hacking web servers and hacking mobile applications. These are all functions within the Certified Ethical Hacker. So we've developed a number of challenges to really challenge students and gain an understanding of what some of the key tactics are out there. So first and foremost, how to execute those in safe environments, but also how to set up your own security defenses, right? This is going to give you the mindset of what a hacker does, how a hacker thinks, and what are the standard common exploits and different types of attacks. So we've added in cloud security components and Docker and a number of other features. We've also added in Parrot operating system. Many we're familiar with Kali Linux as a Linux-based operating system, but we've added in Parrot specifically. And a lot of people are happy with that. Just another Linux-based system that's fun to work with. We've added in some operational technology components and reverse malware engineer and so on and so forth. So some different types of encryption. So that's really what makes up CEH. But if you look at the way CEH is structured, especially version 11, it's the standard in terms of ethical hacking. If you look at vulnerability analysis, system hacking, sniffing, social engineering, and the list goes on, these are all a lot of baseline elements of a well-rounded ethical hacker. This is going to get you in the direction of being a pen tester, right? Many consider CEH and have considered CEH for years a pen testing course. But remember, a lot of the pen testing tactics, these are kind of the fundamentals that get you to the advanced pen testing tactics that involve the full pen test report, things like double pivoting and pinging networks and multi-layer enterprise networks. All of these functions are important. So CEH is going to get you in that avenue. So again, looking at the common job roles of an ethical hacker, this is a pretty long list, and really this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many different job roles and industries that are looking for ethical hackers nowadays. We've seen this grow and evolve in the finance industry, for example, finance and banking industries. We've seen this grow and evolve in the medical industry, right? I'd mentioned finance and banking and fintech, but also, organizations that really never thought they would have to deal with a catastrophic cyber breach that are now saying, okay, we'll do anything to rectify this. Things like ransomware attacks and whatnot. So The job market for ethical hackers and pen testers is just evolving so much in each industry on its own. Even law enforcement uses key components in ethical hacking and pen testing, right? So these are some of the job functions. Now, moving on to certified penetration testing professional. So I'd mentioned that full vulnerability analysis and pen testing track, VAPT, starting with the network defense approach, moving into ethical hacking, and moving into certified penetration testing professional. This is the key, track to be able to get you in that realm of being a skilled pen tester. So CPEN is actually our most difficult course. We haven't had many people actually pass the certification. I think we're still about under 50 people that have ever passed the certification, and it launched in September 2020. So that's a challenge for many of you. If you are a skilled pen tester, we'd love to connect with you and work on a possible way to challenge the CPEN certification, because it is our most challenging certification we've ever launched. And it really is a defense grade cyber range. It's 100% online, the lab range technologies. We've actually combined a series of EC Council expert level courses into CPEN, some of those that you're seeing on the left-hand side. And when we talk about pen testing challenges and tactics, this is a perfect snapshot of what you're seeing right here. So again, you'll see at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, writing professional reports, right? That's a big function of it. But if you see the other, technology in tactical type of topics like double pivoting or weaponizing your exploits, attacking platforms with automated scripts, evading defense mechanisms, and even operational technology. I will say here in the state of Florida, about 20 minutes from the EC Council Tampa, Florida office, if any of you heard of the water plant breach, where hackers got into the actual water plant and increased the amount of lye in the water infiltration system, that was just 20 minutes from our office here in Tampa. Talk about operational technology and how that's a really tangible way that a hacker could go in and exploit an infrastructure and make a difference on the public. I mean, these are threats that are out there. So that's why we're teaching all of these tactics, right? We want to train ethical, skilled professionals and pen testers that can use all of these tactics and all of these resources and all of this education for the good. So CPENT is a pen testing course that's going to allow you to be very skilled, and we've incorporated many different lab technologies in this. Probably the most lab technologies in focus we've had in any EC Council course. So there's 99 labs that are structured around CPEN, and the actual range exam is a 24-hour exam. It's a full 24 hours. You access your open VPN, and you're gonna really start to attack your downrange targets, and you can use your tool sets. It's a realistic exam environment and really a tough one. So if we look at what we've called in the past in terms of the CPEN challenge, this is really the foundation of it. What you're seeing on the left-hand side, you'll be at running advanced Windows attacks, attacking IoT systems, bypassing a filtered network, and so on and so forth. So again, I think if we're looking for lab technologies and resources to share, especially after today's session, we'd love to give you some sample lab access to our CPEN course, because it's a very challenging course, and it's going to give you some pretty cool tools and technologies to work with. And we primarily will give 7-day access to the range, because we want you to have the ability to kind of go through some of the tools, the virtual machines, and run some of those exploits and tactics, and follow the approach and methodology that we layer in. Now, I am going to take just a moment and explain some of the technologies, and then we're going to actually open up some of the range technologies and see what they look like. So our technologies within EC Council, as a certification body, we do also author a lot of our courses in terms of the e-courseware, the lesson plans, the design. Those are all EC Council developed. And when we start to structure the lab builds and various lab technologies, we design and implement those platforms as well to make them challenging so students can enjoy their time, but also have some great outcomes and learn a lot afterwards. But we're going to walk through the lab technologies. We also do provide, there's supplemental videos that will have on-screen lab information and the EC Council Exam Center certification environment where you actually take your exams. CPENT in particular, that's an interactive kind of downrange target exam focus. We have to access those targets and answer a number of questions. But I want to walk you through some of our technologies here in just a moment, and we'll take a look at these. So first and foremost, when we talk about different types of cyber range technologies, I did want to mention we built a range as a service platform. We started building this a couple of years ago called CyberQ. Now, CyberQ is a challenge-based platform that is going to allow you to access different types of challenges in really an arcade format. So there's, if you call these capture the flag challenges, there are flag submissions, there's targets that are incorporated, there's points, there's scoreboards, there's leaderboards, and these are all in the interest of teaching you how to hack, right? Teaching you how to hack, teaching you how to exploit. And many of these come with an actual learning guide as well. So when we're talking about a specific learning guide, there's a few approaches that we have here. So we want to teach you some of the ways that you can actually run these attacks, and we want to give you a step-by-step approach in the learning guide. But as many of us know, we also want to be challenged as well. Once we get it, once we know the process, we want repetition. Repetition is key to be able to replicate certain attacks in different types of environments. That's how you best learn. So CyberQ is going to present that different functionality and features in terms of providing you a challenge range that you can learn and at the same time compete once you're ready to compete. So going back to the previous slide that I was presenting earlier with the track on the approach of how to become a pen tester or how to become an ethical hacker or how to get to a specialization component in the EC Council approach, I do want to mention this is a key element of how you actually get there. So part of which, before we get into the range environment, I wanted to mention we align specific workforce roles to CyberQ. So for example, if you're taking a challenge, you're probably going to want to know, how is this challenge going to help me? What work role or what career is this aligned to? And how do I know if I did well or not, right? So this specifically is going to answer all of those questions. So we align this to specific cyber workforce roles, and we incorporate CVE and CVSS scoring for competition scoring. Now, if you haven't heard of CVE and CVSS, take a look at the CVE blog. The concept here is what is a very, very difficult exploit today. What's ranked as a difficult exploit today may not be difficult in a couple of years or 5 years or 10 years. So we're constantly assessing what is skilled, what is difficult, and how that changes with the CVE incorporated into CyberQ for scoring. Now, let's look at the actual range. This is the console of CyberQ, and this is where we do a lot of our attack methodologies, a lot of our exploits, and you could see the actual environment is geared up as a capture the flag environment. Now, we've done a couple of different, we've offered a couple of different resources and processes through CyberQ. So now you're seeing a Parrot Linux system. So there's a couple of ways, because we do have isolated ranges where you as a student or you as a professional can log in and do your own types of challenge competitions, right? You can just compete against yourself, against the clock, and you can launch different types of challenges submitting the actual flags, right? There's flags here a number of flags to make sure that in challenge mode, you actually know what you're doing. You can score your points at the end. Now that's one scenario. Another scenario is you're actually battling with other players in this range environment. So a CTF or King of the Hill competition with multiplayer, you're logging in and it's really you're attacking other people, running exploits, and you're trying to capture the flag, right? You're trying to stay at the top. But there's also several other scenarios. We designed CyberQ to be a red only type of environment. That means only attackers. We've designed it to be a blue only, so only defenders, and we have automated traffic and different types of exploits that are automated and launching that you have to defend your systems. And then we have red versus blue or red and blue types of environments. So all necessary functions of how we actually teach skill and train skill. So all of the tools are available in the range. We're going to give you everything you need to run exploits, try and break whatever you can, try and launch and hack mobile applications. All of this is available in CyberQ, and it's a competency-based type of education approach with real hands-on tools and real exploits. So I did also want to mention, for those of you that are still learning the process, right? You're learning what is the ethical hacking methodology, what is the pen testing methodology, how to apply that to every type of attack. This is also a platform that's going to walk you through different types of instructional guidelines. So if we look at the lab guide, this is a specific lab guide. We provide you with a couple of things, because you can go in and complete all the challenges that you want, but if you have to answer the question, how does this relate to the real world and why, right? So we provide that perspective. We provide the perspective in terms of system hacking in the scenario. What are the objectives you're going to have to meet? For example, you're going to bypass the access controls, gain access to the system. You're going to do password cracking, vulnerability exploits. You're going to acquire the rights of another user. You're going to take over admin, privilege escalation. You're going to be creating and maintaining remote access, hiding malicious activities and data, using, executing applications like rootkits and whatnot. So all of these, we're going to walk you through that step-by-step process. So we understand that through the process of learning ethical hacking and pen testing and even network defense, repetition is key. So we give all the instructions so you can look at those and process those and be able to work through those as you start to build up your skill towards competitions. Now, once you get to the competition phase, you may not want to use the instructions, right? You may not always want, the hints and whatnot along the way, but we're going to give you the access to do both. And I think that's key. So in talking about different types of range access after, again, we'd love to provide some range access, a module for you to work in and figure out, all right, is this for me? Because, as we all know in cybersecurity job roles, there's many different fields to get into. And although you like, red team and pen testing, it may not be the job for you. You might be more of incident response or threat intelligence or digital forensics type of approach or mindset. So this is what we provide within CyberQ. And it's a big part of what we do, hands-on training in the classroom. That's going to give you the field experience, and that's going to make sure we're continuously challenging you to build your knowledge, skills, and abilities. Now, another part of that is actually to kind of pivot away from the individual and team challenges is cyber competitions. So we've offered a number of different cyber competitions where we've challenged students and professionals alike in the Global Cyber Olympics. So we actually didn't run GCL last year because of the pandemic, but we'll be developing a series of challenges under Global Cyber Olympics that are going to continuously challenge you as students and give you the opportunity to compete. So GCL has been one of the top hacking competitions across the world. We have individual rounds for each country that will go through, and it's a 12-hour round, and the teams that come out on top, the top 2 teams, are invited to the finals. So a part of what we do in the EC Council Academia is we also want to create opportunities for you students to be able to succeed and excel and learn something from the competitions. Now, when we talk about cyber competitions, there's such a broad scope of competitions that are available to you. If you haven't heard of any of the international competitions, there's a number of international competitions. There's a number of competitions locally, I'm sure. So I'd encourage you just to get involved and really try your best and see what the outcome is, because they're a lot of fun to compete in. So in addition to GCL, EC Council has also focused on different types of events and networking opportunities where we provide some highly technical presentations. And a big part of that is done at Hacker Halted. So we ran Hacker Halted earlier this month in October. We run it primarily in October every year. This was our 12th year running Hacker Halted, and we have a different theme each year. And the point of Hacker Halted is to have a couple-day gathering where we have highly skilled network technicians, pen testers, digital forensics analysts, and really so much more, presenting what are the trending topics, technologies, attacks, how are those affecting everyday life, what are the latest trends, what's going on in the dark web, how is IoT traffic affecting security breaches, because we know that a large amount of IoT traffic is unencrypted. So these are all things that are going on, and all topics that are being discussed at Hacker Halted. So this is also an event that's free for students annually and for faculty. So we look forward to getting you involved in Hacker Halted. They do also share a lot of the previous recorded sessions on your platforms. So that's tremendous value if you're looking to just kind of browse around and see, what were some of the topics covered, and is it going to be beneficial for you to watch. So moving from one cyber range to another, because we do offer several cyber ranges, I did want to mention that EC Council also has a range called iLabs. So we took a look at CyberQ, but now we're going to take a look at another range called iLabs. So iLabs is more of a foundational type of approach to a cyber range, to the point where we're still going to give you those step-by-step instructions, and we're still going to give you all the tools you need to complete a different task and objective in the range. So, if we look at our CPENT course, there's a lot of meat in this course. There's Python environment scripting, there's Ruby environment scripting, database pen testing methodologies, mobile device pen testing. There's so much. So if we actually look at running one of these, and there's expected timelines for these events too. This is a specific over 2-hour type of range. So we do offer these browser-based ranges. So it's a fully functionable range. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to download or access tools. It's all in a safe environment, because we want to teach you pen testing in a safe environment. So the lab environment's being built now. We're going to take a look at it in just a moment. But again, this is another range that we offer, and we've been using this range in particular for over a decade to train hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds and thousands of professionals and students all across the world. So we're excited to show you this today. And what we're going to see in just a moment is a very similar approach to CyberQ, except we're going to see a slightly different format to the ranges and the virtual machines that are available in this. And we're going to take a look at how the instructions are formatted. But again, we want to give you something as a takeaway today. So we'd love to get you set up with the range access and provide some demo codes for you to try. Now, we're on a specific module, which is module 13, binary analysis. So a couple of things, we see our console right there, but a couple of ways that this is structured. So you have a software test Linux system, you have a 32-bit system, 64, and a binary practice. And in the instructions, we're going to walk through binary analysis. So this is also going to show you at kind of a step-by-step process how to get through the lab and how to accomplish those objectives. But it's all full range and live resources, all full range access. So all of these screenshots here are meant to help you along the way. So a little bit different than CyberQ. You're not going to have to submit any flags, but this is that step-by-step process for a lot of these advanced techniques that we walk you through. So one of the several ranges that we offer is iLabs. So moving away from iLabs, I wanted to get back to the point where we actually talk about where do you get started in a cybersecurity career, and part of that we had mentioned before, the Essential series. And the Essential series is, it's a series where we focus on primarily the basics of digital forensics, ethical hacking, and network defense. And really why that matters is, there's a really a rhyme and a reason to those foundational topics. So, if we're talking about different types of programs, let's just take a look at ethical hacking essentials, for example. All of the concepts are really taken from Certified Ethical Hacker, but just repurposed to a foundational level. So if you're just learning ethical hacking for the first time, I would encourage you to explore some of the free ebook and video resources that can help walk you through becoming an ethical hacker. Again, a lot of these concepts are focused on the specific workforce role, right? We want to get you to the point where you can start as an entry-level cybersecurity technician or a help desk technician, a network administrator, or a cybercrime analyst. Really, the list goes on. But our goal is to provide you with that foundational knowledge to be able to be prepared and achieve those job roles and get started working, get the experience in. This is what we encourage. So aside from that, I did want to mention the previous technologies that we have. There's also a lot more. I just gave you a kind of a little bit of information on two of our cyber ranges. There's also a great deal of video course technologies. We do how to build a capture the flag event. We do intro to Linux. We do a lot of different video-based courses that are small bite-sized type videos that are meant to just teach you a series of granular topics in a short amount of time. And then we're always kind of growing, evolving our cyber competition. So hopefully that gives you a really a good picture of who EC Council is, what types of certifications we offer, what types of approaches we recommend when you're getting into the cybersecurity career field. What are the technologies that you use along the way? How do those help you get a hands-on approach and a hands-on understanding of the resources in the fields? And really, what's the direction that we recommend? And with a lot of that, I did want to thank you all for your time. I know a big part of these sessions is opening it up for questions. I would love to answer a number of questions and just focus on anything that we can provide perspective on, because it's a blue ocean out there with a lot of different cyber jobs that are growing, a lot of different types of resources and activities, and a lot to help you as students grow to be able to focus on the careers that are going to be available for you tomorrow. So with there, I'll pause and I'll see if there's any questions in the chat. But again, I wanted to say it's a pleasure being here today. It's a pleasure speaking with all of you. And I'm really happy we're able to attend this session. So I'll pause and open it up for questions. I know we normally take some time after for questions. So I'm going to look at the chat, or feel free to unmute. And I know there's going to be a few of the faculty that may also be translating the questions as well. So I'll look forward to answering those at this time.
Great presentation, Wesley. Thanks. There's one question. It was a bit of a time ago. Wesley, thank you for sharing so much information with us. I know you showed the certification pathway, but for our students, are there basic certifications that you recommend for anyone, regardless of the pathway they choose afterwards?
Great question. Great question. Thank you. So I'll share my screen just again for a moment. And I think some of this we may have covered, but the process for these certifications that would be good for anyone to start with, we would really recommend the new free course series that we're offering, the Essentials series. And the reason being, when you're getting started, and we looked at, what's the general practice of, end user security, or just, staying safe as an individual in your household and your home network, etc., taking the proper practices. From that point on, we want to teach you the essentials of network defense and the essentials of ethical hacking and digital forensics. What are the definitive terms? What are the standard approaches? We're not going to get too advanced and too technical up front, but we're going to give you the knowledge where you could really get into any field. That track that I was sharing before can look pretty intimidating, right? There's a lot of different certifications on there. Few people go through that full track. So that's a great question, because you can start off with free resources with some of these free courses and really just learn the basics and work towards the different type of segmented cybersecurity, career that you're looking for. So I would recommend the Essential series, primarily because the approach here is, as you're seeing in this network defense approach here, security fundamentals. You're going to look at identification, authentication. You're going to move to, physical controls, technical controls, and you start getting into the defense mechanisms of IoT device security, wireless security, etc. And you get to the point where you're monitoring network traffic. Now, those are all functions of a help desk technician, of a cyber tech, right? Level 1, level 2 cyber tech. So I would strongly recommend starting with some of the free resources and some of the free courses through the Essential series. That would get you to the point where you could really branch off into any type of career. Now, interesting enough, we have seen a lot of different personnel that are not from cybersecurity backgrounds start to review and take these courses. So think about accounting, for example. We've seen forensic accounting classes that have started to appear. Think about in the criminal justice degrees or criminal justice domains. We've seen criminal justice programs start to pick up digital forensics essentials and become far more technical. So I think these are different types of gateways into much more elaborate technologies and careers.
Very nice. We are very curious as to what we will get as academic partners, because we haven't been told many things about that yet.
Absolutely. Well, I'll share that right now. So one of the things that we provide in terms of EC Council Academia partnerships is we provide faculty all of the resources to evaluate. So that's all of the content. And keep in mind, EC Council offers a lot of content. So I'll show you kind of the way that traditional students and faculty will access our ebooks. So, all of our resources, our lesson plans, our designs, even the Essential series that is in there, our incident response courses, ethical hacking, our drone hacking workshops, we unlock this for academic partner faculty. And for students, we make sure there's very cost-effective and affordable resources that are designed for student budgets. So I'd mentioned there are some free resources to students. The Essential series is our newest type of free resource for students that is newly developed. All the lab ranges and technologies are there. So the curriculum and the videos are available. There are some small fees just for the lab, just because there's consumable costs associated with the lab ranges and the tools. But as academic faculty, you receive these resources, and as students, you receive some very reputable discounts off of these resources. We do also provide faculty with scholarships for certifications, and there's also great opportunities for students to apply for scholarships as well. So one of the things I'll mention, and I'll pull this up on the EC Council site right now. So there's a CH Practical Scholarship that you can actually apply for. So this is free scholarship from EC Council that we actually just got started not too long ago. We're donating $1 million in scholarships. So Paula, if one of my colleagues is on the call as well, Paula Mejia, if you could post this link in the chat for everyone, that would be excellent, because this practical scholarship is one of the ways that we're making resources ready and available for students. The CH Practical is actually a 6-hour performance-based certification exam. It's an open tools, open notes, open book exam. So we're providing a realistic review of here's your challenges, right? Just like when you're on the job, here's the overview, here's the challenges, and you have to work within that 6 hours to answer the questions properly. So this page is going to give you more information about the scholarship. We make this available for students as part of the academia program, and then also you also get free tickets to our Global Cyber Olympics event, free tickets to Hacker Halted, and students and faculty receive those as well. More importantly, what we like to do as far as EC Council is we like to also donate different types of lab and range technologies to students and student clubs and student associations. So things that we talked about, like our CyberQ range, there's a couple of free resources in CyberQ that are going to teach you the basics and fundamentals of a standard type of flag submission event, right? A capture the flag submission event. And then, we have some that are focused on red team, some that are focused on blue team. And then we also provide some free lab demo resources too. So the key thing to remember about the academic partnership is you now have EC Council support for different types of initiatives and clubs, student discounts, faculty scholarships, tickets to events, and representation of the EC Council brand. So those are just a handful of some of the benefits there.
That's really great. Way more than I expected, actually. There's another question. I would like you to comment on the validity of the EC Council certificates. Are they accepted in any country in the world?
Great question. Great question. So let's have a look, and I'll provide just a little bit of an overview here. So one of the things I like to mention is if we go on the EC Council site, and the reason why I like this question is because we work in over 145 countries across the world, and I was just mentioning before, the question that we get oftentimes is, what's the best certification? What is the best cybersecurity certification? What's the right one for me? Is it recognized? And that's a broad question. I would encourage each of you to do one thing in particular that would help get you visibility into this. And I'm gonna show you kind of the EC Council designations from industry and government and whatnot. But first, always look on your local job boards, right? And keep in mind that many cybersecurity positions are not just relative locally, they could be all across your country, because we're working in a virtual environment a lot of times. But the best thing to do is look on your local job boards. So if you're interested in a certification, or if you're wondering, is this certification going to help me? Go and search for that certification on Indeed or Monster or Career Builder or one of the many job sites, and see what types of job roles are requiring that certification, or maybe even suggesting it as entry into the interview or into the application process. So do the research first. There are a lot of credentials out there. I always recommend people, if you're looking for a specific field or a specific job, go do the research, see what some of the top certifications are out there, see what the job roles those employers are recommending, and really get a good understanding of the field you want to be in and what certification is going to help provide value. Now, we do have a number of industry designations all across the world. I had mentioned before, one that was really hard to attain was the U.S. Department of Defense Directive 8570, 8140 for 4 of our certification credentials. So this is a specific mapping for the U.S. military, but we know that a lot of times industry will value what's what the military is designating, right? Education will also value what industry is wanting and aligning towards. So that framework mapping is important, but I'll ask you to focus on the specific certifications that the jobs that you're looking for are requiring. That's a great way to understand, is the certification going to benefit me? We do have a number of resources that can verify credibility too. If you're looking for personal experiences, I think that's something I always like to see and kind of relate to. First off, go on YouTube and search for EC Council. So if you visit the EC Council page, I'll pause this right here, and you look at the videos, you're going to see a number of different perspectives across many EC Council courses from all over the world. So we have Indonesia represented here. We have the US, we have Canada, we have Germany, we have the Netherlands. There's a number of different perspectives on EC Council certifications. So I'll also post this link in the chat, but I do want to say, it's important to know the workforce roles aligned to the certification part, part one. The second step is what types of jobs are requiring those certifications. And then the third step is, do the accreditations for a particular certification body hold weight in your specific career field that you're looking for in the specific job market? And EC Council certifications are ranked globally across the world. And CH is highly regarded, and a number of other certifications are highly regarded. So do the work. Know that a lot of these are focused, on the career field and career-based education to help prepare you for those, and make sure you know the proper perspective that certification is going to bring you and the proper value. So there is also one last thing I'll end with, an EC Council accreditations page. This is I'll copy and paste this in the chat, but there's also an EC Council accreditations page that's really going to provide you with an overview of the accreditations. These were not easy to attain, and these are highly reputable, highly regarded accreditations. Even working with the National Cybersecurity Center in the UK, which and CRUST, which are very challenging designations to receive. So this page will also provide you some perspective on the designations and industry recognition and value of EC Council certifications.
Very nice. Pessoal, se vocês tiverem alguma dúvida, não quiserem escrever em inglês, vocês podem mandar em português, eu traduzo também para vocês. So I was looking at certifications for some time now, and I see that you guys changed the core certification, the certified ethical hacker, for a more practical approach, I believe. How did that affect like the idea of the certification?
Sure. Yeah. So we actually we didn't change the standard certified ethical hacker program, but we kind of evolved a couple of different segments of the program. So the standard CEH certification is a very challenging certification. The exam is multiple choice. It's a 4-hour exam, 125 questions based on a number of domains. That's the standard EC Council certification. So we know that anyone that goes through that certification and passes the credential is going to have that knowledge and is going to be working with, the hands-on components in ethical hacking, and it has that proof of knowledge, a benchmark level of knowledge to achieve the credential. So in addition to CH, we also focused and incorporated a couple of years ago the CH practical. So CH Practical is not a multiple choice exam. It's a performance-based exam with 6 hours across 20 different practical challenges. So the passing scores is 70%, and as I've mentioned before, it's open book. So these are two different exams, two completely different exams. CH has been around since 2003, and then CH Practical was introduced towards the end of 2018. So two separate exams, all focused on the same concept. The CH, you prove your knowledge, and CH Practical, you prove your skills and abilities. So we added an additional layer to the CEH series. Now, one of the things we also incorporated is when you have the CH exam credential and you have the CH Practical credential, we have a CH Master designation. So the CH Master is basically a challenge. Prove your ethical hacking skills, prove the knowledge, prove the skills, and prove the abilities. So with the CH Master designation that was recently introduced, we have a CH Master leaderboard. Now, this is highlighting people from all across the world on the Global Ethical Hacking Leaderboard who have each taken and passed CH and CH Master. So you can see practically the world's best on here. So the top 10 in the world, and lo and behold, congratulations. Brazil has the top seat as of right now. So a gentleman from softball. So this does fluctuate. Quite often. I mean, we've seen people from various regions of the world at the top of the leaderboard. So now we see, we see Singapore, we see India, we see others from India, Peru, the U.S. This is a very, proud moment for a lot of these hackers, being able to say, I've made it to the top 10 in the world on the ethical hacking leaderboard by passing both of those exams. So the rest of this page will talk about the scoring and the time and really, leaderboard member interviews. There's a number of these on here. And these are very proud moments for a lot of these people. So yeah, I did want to mention a great question on CH, but the evolution of how we're approaching ethical hacking concepts is always changing, is always evolving. A big part of that was also adding in the CH Master credential and then adding in this this CH Master leaderboard.
Really great. Thank you for the answer. I don't know if you want to add anything, talk about anything else.
Yeah, so I think yeah, we've gone through some of the standard certifications and range technologies. One other small thing I'll add is another division within EC Council that's EC Council Code Red. If you're looking for, one of the questions earlier was, how do I just start with some standard resources, and how do I start with just the basics, right? Code Red actually does that for a lot of different resources. And I'm sorry, let me get you the. That was our iClass site by EC Council, but Code Red is kind of short and concise video resources that are on a number of different topics. So this is a major division within EC Council that's responsible for a great deal of learning, but different types of tracks and pathways are incorporated into Code Red, and a series of hands-on labs as well. So looking at the library, you're able to see, network security courses, data science, InfoSec, cloud computing. So these are all broken up into different segments. So if you're looking at, practical introduction to cloud computing, or AWS certified solutions, or Docker, these are great short courses, and it says beginner, intermediate, advanced levels. So if you're looking at, Microsoft Azure Architect Design, this is going to show, a trailer of the course, give you the course overview. These are all functions of what we do within EC Council to try to encourage education in cybersecurity. So another great resource, I'll just end on that. We do have a number of discounts that are through the academic program for students. Also, we do set up some preliminary access, 30-day access typically to this platform to get you acquainted with a lot of the different resources. So aside from that, I think we had covered 2 of our lab platforms, a couple of our competitions, some of our leaderboards and whatnot. So if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Or if any questions come up after the fact, I'm always happy to answer those. But I hope you guys enjoyed the session as much as I did.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation, for your presentation. I don't know if Santin wants to add something.
I want to thank you, Paola and Wesley, to accept our invitation to be here with a great presentation, and I believe our students are happy. And of course, we will start to announce our partnership, and I believe we will have another opportunity to be together, and maybe you can come here in person in the future. Oh, Wesley is. Are you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the camera just froze, but it's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity. I would love to be able to come there in person someday as well. So I really appreciate it, and it's great to be a part of this.
Very good. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.